Okay, welcome everyone. Today we are going to be doing our unit review of what we've been working on, which is 7th chords. So this won't be too long of a video, but I wanted to walk you guys through it. And after you watch this, make sure to let me know if you have any questions whatsoever, if it's not about 7th chords, if it's about something else I say in this video. Make sure to shoot me a message on Slack. I'm always checking. I have my notifications on. So with that, let's get started. And make sure you're probably watching this on the 5-level YouTube, but check out all the social medias for information about these office hours, any other content that might be coming up within AP Music Theory, or any of your other AP classes. So today, just a little overview in this stream, we are going to be talking about 7th chords, like I said, and then we're going to be talking about 7th chords in inversion, and then I'm going to walk you through some examples with my handy dandy whiteboard that I now have. And then obviously we're not going to have a Q&A, and I probably will not do ear training, but I'll definitely walk you through some examples because I think it will help you. So different types of 7th chords. So we know that a 7th chord is based off of the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th scale degree in a scale. So there's many different types of 7th chords, as you can see here, and as we have learned over the past few weeks. So you have the major 7th chord, which is a major triad with a major 7th on top. So that would look like, if we're in the key of C, let me use a different color here. If we're in the key of C, that major chord is going to look like this. C on the bottom, E, G. So here, key of C, there's no sharps, no flats, right? So here's your major triad, C, E, G, and then on the top, you're going to add that major 7th, which is B. So here we have a major triad. Let's play that on the piano. There we go. And now if we are going to talk about a dominant 7th chord, that is a major triad with a minor 7th on top. So here we still have our major triad, but if we want to make it a minor 7th, we are going to lower the 7th scale degree, which is B. So B becomes B flat. That sounds like this. That's probably the most common 7th chord you are going to ever hear. And it's common in part writing, once we get to that they're going to ask you to write a 5-7. That's how it's notated. Yeah, so let's move on. We have the minor 7th chord, which is a minor triad with a minor 7th. So we already have that minor 7th on top, right? So to make a minor triad, the rule, as we know, is to lower the 3rd. The 3rd in this case is E. So we're lowering that by a half step to E flat. Just drop my cap. So let's play this minor 7th chord on the piano. There you have that. Now we're going to do a half-diminished 7th chord, which half-diminished is notated as such. It has the circle with the line through it. So to make something half-diminished, and I'm hoping you can see that without my shadow, to make something half-diminished, it's composed of a diminished triad with a minor seventh. So we have that minor seventh. We're going to keep that right on top. And you have to make the triad diminished. So right now we just have a minor triad. Diminished triad is composed of a lowered third, which we already have, and a lowered fifth. So what we need to do here is make sure that the G natural becomes a G flat. And I like to space my flats out just so you don't get confused as to where they are or anything. And let me do this so you guys can be able to see what I am truly talking about. And I hope you were able to see it this whole time. I'm just realizing that you might not have been able to, but we can walk back through it really quick. So we have the C major seventh chord, which sounds like this again. Then we have our, let me get my slideshow back up and running. Then we have our dominant seventh chord, which is the major triad with the minor seventh. So we make the B a B flat here. So that sounds like this again. And then we go on to our minor seventh, which is a minor triad with a minor seventh on top, which we already have. So in order to make the minor triad, we lower the third to be an E flat. And like I said, just going through these quickly again. Half-diminished seventh chord, which is notated with the circle and the line through it, as you see here. That is a diminished triad with a minor seventh. So we already have that minor seventh, right? To make it a triad diminished, we lower the third, which is already lowered in this case, and the fifth. So the fifth here is a G natural, and that's becoming a G flat. And then last but not least, we have our diminished seventh chord, also known as your fully diminished seventh chord. That is a diminished triad with a diminished seventh on top. So we already have, and a fully diminished is notated with just the circle. So we already have our diminished triad, right? So to make this minor seventh a diminished seventh, we lower that once again by another half step. So it then becomes a B double flat. So there you have it. That is your fully diminished seventh chord. And let me let someone in. Hi, Sabrina.
Hello.
I had just started recording this because they're going to put it in the content library and I didn't think anyone was coming. So, yeah, so you're fine. I can start over if you want, or since you're the only one here, if you wanted to watch the recording back, it's totally up to you if you don't want to stay for this. But if not, we can start over and just do my quick review of seventh chords.
Okay. Yeah, we've been doing that in my school, so I think I'm kind of like in between with it.
Yeah, okay. So I was just going over the different types of seventh chords, which let me make my screen a little bit bigger. So I was just saying the few different types that there are, and I was drawing some out. So let me do that really quick. So I was just saying that you have the minor seventh chord or the major seventh chord, which is if we're talking about in the key of C, we have C, E, G, and then B. That's the major because in the key of C there's no sharps, no flats, and that sounds like this. Then we have the dominant seventh chord, which is probably the most common one that you'll see, which is a major triad with a minor seventh on top. So since this is B natural, to make it a minor seventh, you go a half step down with it and make it a B flat. Have you been talking about the different kinds within your class?
We've been doing like inversions, but I get kind of confused when she's like asking to like create a certain type of seventh chord.
Yeah, so let me, I have the presentation, but I didn't share it just because I want to be able to see my screen as well. Like, want you to be able to see me drawing them out. So let me share it and let me see if you can still see what I'm. Can you still see me writing on the whiteboard?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, cool. So I'll keep the presentation up then so you can see what I'm talking about as I go along. Just let me know if you can't see either of the screens at any point. So this here is the dominant seventh chord, which is the major triad. You built the major triad with the minor seventh on top, and that sounds like this. That's the most common, like I said, and usually when you get to part writing, you'll write that as a 5 chord, which isn't important for right now. We can talk about it later. But then we move on to a minor seventh chord, which is composed of a minor triad with the minor seventh on top. So we already have that minor seventh here with the B flat, but we have to make this triad go from major to minor. So we do that by lowering the third, making the E an E flat. So that's the minor triad with the minor seventh, and it sounds like this. Okay. And then we start getting into diminished triads. So we'll talk about the half-diminished seventh chord first. That's going to be notated like this. So it's just the circle with the slash through it. That's half-diminished seventh chord. And what is that? That is made of a diminished triad with a minor seventh on top. So we have that minor seventh with the B flat. We can still keep it, but we need to make this minor triad diminished. And when you make something diminished, you lower the third and the fifth of that triad. So here we're going to make this G a G flat. So we have our diminished triad and the minor seventh. And that sounds like this. Okay. And finally, we have the fully diminished seventh chord, which is notated just the circle without the slash through it. So if I was writing this, like if it was a 1 chord, if we're in the key of C, and they want us to write a 1 diminished seventh, that's what it would look like. That's how you'd write it out. So to make something diminished, we have to have the diminished triad with the diminished seventh on top. Well, right now we have a minor seventh, so we have to lower it even more to make it diminished. So this B flat becomes a B double flat. And that sounds like this. Okay, does that kind of help you? Do you have any questions on the different types?
Yeah, like I understand like the lowering and like inversions, but I don't get what like how to know what note to start on. like when you're building it.
Okay, so I have examples of that we can do together. You said you are comfortable with inversions?
Relatively. I understand the concept of it, but sometimes like when I'm like asked to build it, it takes me a little bit of time.
Okay, yeah, we can just go over those quickly and then I'll hop to the examples that I want to do with you to show you how to know which note to start on.
Okay.
So this is just an example of what I was just doing. And here we have inversions. So let me erase this and we'll do the inversions just quickly together. So if I had a C major 7th chord, it just looks like this. No sharps, no flats. And we want to, so that's it. Okay, so we're in the key of C again. This is a 1 chord and it's a 7th. So this is root position. Okay. So then let's keep this going. We then want it to be in first inversion, which means that you're moving the root up on top. So that looks like this. The E is now on the bottom. It's in the bass. When I say in the bass, that means that note's on the bottom. So we have the E, the G, and the B, and the C comes up here. And that's first inversion. So that's notated. I don't know if you can still see that. I'll write a little higher up. That's notated as a 1 or whatever chord you're using, and it's a 6-5. So whenever you see the 6-5, you think, oh, first inversion. If we're in root position, it's the 7. So like I was telling Kurt and Alondra last week, the way to think of inversions is you go you can see up here. For root position is notated with the 7. First inversion is notated with 6-5. Second inversion is notated with 4-3. And then third inversion is notated with just a 2. So it goes in order. It's 7, 6-5, 4-3, 2. So this is root, first, second, and third. And those are the inversions. So do you get how to notate them?
Notate. Oh, like putting it next to the Roman numeral.
Yep. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, I know that. But how do you know what Roman numeral to put and like what the Roman numeral means?
Yeah, so we can do that with the examples. So the Roman numerals really only apply when you're doing part writing. So when I started writing the Roman numerals here, I automatically said, oh, this is in the key of C. So when you're given a piece of music that they want you to write the notes or chords into, you're going to be given the key, which you also see notated here. There's no sharps, no flats. You know that's the key of C. And then my first, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. So if you're in the key of C, the first note in that scale is C. So that's why I wrote a 1 here, because this is a C chord. So that's the first scale degree. That's why I have the capital 1. So I can write out the scale if you want. So if you're given, like, let me do an example. If you're given, they're giving you the staff and they want you to write, you're given the key of D major, which is notated by the capital D right there. And they want you to write, they do the capital 5. Okay, we'll do 5, 5, 7 for our case that we're doing 7th chords right now. So what is the 5th scale degree in D? So count up from D5 and then tell me what it is.
Is it A?
Yes, yep. So that's how you know what note you're starting on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then this is the 5. The 5th of D is A. So that's what you're building your chord up on. So if we were to do that, it's the A, C, and the 5-7 notates a dominant 7th chord. So this is the A, C, E. Oh, because the key of D. I'm like, why is there no sharps? Key of D would have these in the key signature. So A, C sharp, E, and then G, we would make a G flat for that minor 7. So do you get how I found where to start?
Yeah, you just counted up by like 5 or whatever Roman numeral you have.
Yep. And they're not always going to have the 7 here. Like in part writing, sometimes you won't have the 7th included and it'll just be these, but it's the same with any number. So I used 5, but you can use 3. So if it was D, E, F, then it would start on F. Do you know, so like in a major scale, do you know what the Roman numerals look like of a major scale?
It's like 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is major, 7 is diminished, and then it goes back to 1.
Yeah, so you should learn those for both your major and minor keys because that will help you in part writing. Because if you're looking at like that, I knew that I was doing a major 5 and I was like, where's the C sharp? It was my own bad. I forgot to put in the key signature. So that's just a way to think about it. We'll do some more examples in just a few slides. So here is your just take out some staff paper and we can do these together, or you can follow along with me. Let me get back to my screen. Thank you for messaging me, by the way, too, because I probably wouldn't have seen it because I was like full into making the video already.
Sorry for like barging in.
Oh no, you're totally fine. Someone came in the first minute and I think they realized they were the only ones here, so they left. I don't know who it was. It didn't say their name, so but that's why I put it in the channel again. Okay, so I wrote out some examples that I want to walk through, and let me know if you can't see anything I'm writing, but I'm gonna do big. And I'll move my head after I write them too. My lines aren't straight, but it's okay. We're gonna work with it. So these will be in treble clef. It's my favorite thing ever, is drawing treble clef. So our first one that we are going to do, number 1, is going to be, and let me see what time it is. Okay, perfect, we have time to do these. So it is going to be an E major, half diminished 7th. So that's notated like this. And these, we're not writing it in a key, so you don't have to figure out with the Roman numerals. We're just doing these as examples. So the way we are going to build that, obviously starting on E. If it's half diminished, that means we need a diminished triad with a minor 7th on top. So E, we're in the key of E here too, which is 4 sharps, right? I like to test Kurt and Alondra to see if they get them. Okay, so we have E, and usually we would have a G sharp if it were major, but since this is a diminished, half diminished, we need the diminished triad, so this is a G natural. And then we have the B, but because it's diminished, we're lowering it to a B flat. And then on top, we need the minor seventh, which is the D natural. So let me play that. That's what it sounds like. And I'll do just two of these kind, and then we'll do the ones with the Roman numerals because I think that definitely helps. We'll do one in bass clef, just because it's good to get comfortable using both clefs and reading both clefs. I know it was hard for me to get comfortable with it because I play the violin and we solely play in treble clef. So when I came to music theory, I was like bass clef, but you have to know it for the test. So this one is going to be an A flat minor seventh. So since this is an uppercase A, we're going to use the key of A flat major. Let me write this so we know that we're in bass clef, and we'll write that. And so we have 4 flats if it's A flat major. And so we're starting with the A flat right here. Key is notated already, so we don't need to write the accidental. And if we're writing a minor seventh, that means we have to have a minor triad with a minor seventh on top. So A flat, if it was C natural, it would be major, so we need to make it a C flat. Then we have E, which is already flattened here, so it now becomes E double flat. And I would write it like this. I would notate both of the flats, even though one's already indicated here. You could technically just write one accidental, but just to be on the safe side, I would write the double flats. And then on top, oh, I'm sorry, minor.
Yeah, I was thinking like I thought there's just one flat in the triad.
Yeah, I'm thinking in diminished. Someone help me. But okay, so we have A flat, C flat, E flat, which is staying the same, and then the minor seventh on top. What would that be?
It's G flat.
Yep, perfect. So that sounds just like this. Let's see how many times I drop this cap. Okay. Any questions with these?
Nope, we're good. You have a cool setup, by the way. It's like your piano's right in front of you and you got the whiteboard. I wish my music theory teacher did that. Like, her setup is really bad, and people at home cannot read anything she's saying or she's writing.
Oh, and I had to deal with that all last year, so I just know the struggles of it. So I was like, I've actually had this whiteboard since I was like 12 because I wanted to be a teacher, and so I asked for Christmas one year. So That's coming in handy. It's such a nerdy thing, I know. But I haven't, like last year for my IP music theory test, obviously it was taken at home. So I just drew a huge circle of fifths on this. I sat at my desk and took it. It was like the best thing ever. I was like, this is worth the money now. Like, and I'll use it in the future. Anyway, thank you for complimenting that.
It's not nerdy. I actually asked for a whiteboard for Christmas too, but it wasn't that big. And my friend got it for me for like Secret Santa.
Oh my gosh. I honestly, whiteboards, like, I've used this so much for like my math classes. So worth it. Like, I'm the type that's like go big or go home. And so I was like, this is what I need. But I was so excited because I've been at school doing these office hours and I was like so waiting to come home so I could use this. It was so helpful. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay. Let's move on to some that are given with a given key. And this one is in treble clef. And for this one, we are going to be in the key of F minor. So I don't think I had slides that went with this. Let me double check. So while I'm figuring this out, the key of F minor, what's the key signature there?
I'm really bad at minors.
That's okay. So what you want to do is you want to think what's a step and a half up from F. So a step up from F is G.
Is G sharp?
Yes. So what's another way to think of G sharp?
Like the number of sharps.
So G sharp is equivalent to A flat, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is so a step up, you already have that G.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done with G. So now what's a step up from G is A flat. So now you have G and A. So we're in the key, when you're thinking of minors, F minor is the related minor to A flat major. So that means that here we have 4 sharps. So E, E. So there's our key signature. And what is the chord? Oh, so I had to write a 5, 7. So that is a dominant 7th chord because it's a 5, 7. So I'll give you a second to write that out, and then I'm going to ask you to help me write it on the board. Obviously, we know we're in the key of F, so remember to count up 5 to get that starting note. Fifth up from F is C. Yep. So I'm just going to write it down lower just because we can do it up here. That's fine. So C. If it's a dominant 7th chord, what type of triad is it built up on?
Isn't it like the root?
So a dominant 7th chord, what type of major triad is in it, and then what minor is on, or what 7th is on the top. So if we're thinking dominant 7th chords, we have a major triad with a minor 7th on the top.
Okay.
So a major triad would look like this. But what's the problem here? It's a C, E flat, G, that's minor. So we have to make it an E natural. And that's just for this chord, okay?
Okay.
So if you're looking at this big, long, like 4-measure thing, and they ask for the dominant 7th, so the 5/7, you know that this has to be major above it. So you want to make sure that that would make sense. Because if I had not put this natural there, the natural sign, you wouldn't know.
Okay.
It would be minor and it would be considered wrong. So then on top, we have to have the B, and we already have B flat built in, right? So we're all set. That sounds like this. It's like what we were doing before. There's your dominant 7th chord, your 5/7. Questions on that? Questions on why I made it natural?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. And just doing exercises like these helps for when you get to part writing, because you're going to be given a bunch of stuff.
Is part writing like when there's 4 like of the things? Yeah, we're already doing that in my class, and so it just got really hard. So I thought I was behind by a lot.
No, you're good. I've been taking things a little slow, just because I think this is like the most important part of music theory, is building those foundations to get to part writing.
Right.
So I think you reviewing 7th chords is like very helpful.
Okay.
I'm personally taking music theory in college right now, and like we did a review of them, and I know it helped me, and it's just stuff you have to know, you know.
Okay.
So let's do another one. This one will be in the key of D minor. Notice I have the lowercase d here. That means it's minor. And we are finding the 7-diminished 4/3. So our first job is to figure out what the key signature looks like. So if we're going 1.5 steps up from D, what's the related major?
F.
Yep, perfect. So an F has, what's the key signature of F?
A 1 flat.
Yep. So write that in there. And so what note will we be starting on if we're talking about the 7th degree in D?
C.
Yep. I guess I did so many with C. We'll write it down here this time. Okay, so ignore the inversion for right now. We're going to write it in root position first, because that always helps me. We'll do the inversion very last. So we have the C. Fully diminished means that we have to have a diminished triad with a diminished 7th on top. So C, E, G. To make this triad diminished, we lower the 3rd and we lower the 5th. And then on top, we have the B flat already, which is a minor, but we need to make it diminished. So we're going to add a flat to it. So here I notated differently than I did last time. This indicates the double flat. So this is fully diminished. That's in root position though. However, we want it with this inversion. Do you know what inversion this is?
The second inversion.
Yep. So which note here is going to be on the bottom?
The G flat.
Yep, perfect. So we take these two notes, we take the C and we take the E flat. We're going to move them up here. So that's what this would look like. The 7 fully diminished in second inversion. Is that good?
Yeah, I got that.
Cool. Do you find these easy or do you find them hard? I don't want to like waste your time if you don't want to do these.
No, it's good. Like at first, it took me a pretty long time to do it because like I didn't understand like how the key signature like related to the actual chord. But I got it now. Like I got it like at the same pace that you were writing it, so that's a lot faster than I was before. So thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to do one more, two more? I have two more, but let me know what you're thinking.
I think one more is fine.
Okay. I had some ear training stuff to do at the end of this, which up to you if you want to do it. I had a melodic dictation, a rhythmic dictation, and then I just had those two. I wasn't gonna do intervals today, but I totally get it if you don't want to do those. I didn't think anyone was gonna show up anyway, so you're good. Okay, so this is not in treble clef. I don't know. I just love writing treble clef, so I think I just immediately go to it.
Yeah, it's just like the swirly motion. It's so addicting.
Yeah, it's so fun. We had like a contest last year in my AP music theory class of who could draw the best treble clef, and not to brag, but I did win. So okay, so this one's in bass clef. Still fun. So fun to write. And let me see, which one do I want to do? We'll do, just because I'm so sick of A flat major. I feel like I've done that a lot. We'll do, this is in the key of C minor. And we are finding the 2 half diminished 7th. So first we're thinking of what C minor is related to. What's its relative major?
D sharp.
So one step up from that is you have the right thinking here. It's just the wrong name. So C up one step is D. You already have the D taken care of. Half step up from D is E flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's related to E flat major.
Okay.
So 3 flats here. E. That's not E. That's in treble clef. B, E, A. And what is our starting note here? It's a 2 chord.
D.
Yep. Just hit that. So we'll start on the D. And
does this key signature always have to be flats?
nope, that's just so happens that it's the keys that I chose to use tonight. I didn't realize that they were all going to be flats, but there will be sharps. So like if you're thinking of B, do you mean for minors or just in general?
I don't really know the difference.
Yeah, so if I were saying that this is like, say we were in the key of B minor, the relative major to that is D major, which would be 2 sharps.
Okay.
So it just depends on the key that you're using, and I just so happened to pick keys that were related to scales that had flats in them rather than sharps. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're starting on D, and since it's half diminished, we have a It's a half diminished seventh chord, so it's a diminished triad with a minor seventh on top instead of fully diminished, which would have a diminished seventh on top. So we have these notes. So D, usually it would be F sharp, right? D, F sharp, A is a major chord, but since it's going to be minor, we need to make this is F, natural. And we don't need to notate that because if there's nothing notated, you know it's natural. So the A, however, we would need to flat. So D, F natural, A flat is our minor, or our diminished triad. So we have, and then we're adding our minor seventh on top. C, just natural because it's not diminished. So that sounds like this. Are we good with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's totally up to you. It is almost 6, so don't hurt my feelings if you do want to go. Did you have any other questions for me on seventh chords? I'm gonna try and start some part writing next week. There is, I don't know if you've been on the I made the AP Music Theory hub.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so there, if you go to the worksheet section in that, there's already some part writing worksheets up there if you want to use them to practice for what you're doing in your in-school class. There's a bunch. I put a ton of seventh chord worksheets up over the past few weeks that you can do to work on those. But yeah, do you have any questions for me?
No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Cool. So hopefully I will see you next week. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message on Slack. I have notifications on, and I know you work for Fiveable too, so I'm sure you have notifications on and are familiar with all that. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm here. I'm home now, so if you ever need just in the middle of the week when I don't have office hours and you're like, hey, this is my homework from my class, can you help me with it? I will.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.